do our- I
Oh
know.
my
Let's do
God,
our
amazing
morning
me.
beautification. By the way, I
So
never wear black to my sessions, extremely rarely, but because I think it absorbs energy like very hardcore. So
that's why I'm wearing it today.
I
Yeah.
only wear it to teach or to like do something where I'm not in that seat. I mean, that's perhaps too strict, but it's something like that. Okay, the question was, do I keep all my unedited video?
Hmm.
Yes. So the way
Yes.
my VA is instructed is she takes everything out of Zoom as soon as it's recorded because you pay extra if you have over whatever your allotted amount is. So I try to make it so it's not always overly full, which it was for a year or so because I couldn't figure it out. But now she pulls it all out, saves it in OneDrive. Also, she's in the Philippines, so over there in the Philippines, I had her purchase a hard drive. So like this took trust and this took time,
Hmm.
right? Because like some lady who I don't know personally, let's be
Yeah.
honest,
Okay.
has my hard drive out there. So I do have her backing it up on the hard drive. I do also have a regular backup that works on my computer when I'm not, sitting here working. So I do have like I'm a bit OCD like that. I do have several places where it's being backed up because this is my lifeline right now. Like this is my career. So
Well,
I
it's
I
like
need
your
to
book of business.
exactly. So I need to
Hmm.
protect it all. So all the raw film is saved. And then this is an important piece for you. Hi, Greg, especially because you're hiring a VA and expanding, is from the raw video, we do a flywheel concept. Okay. Do you know what a flywheel is? Flywheel
Not a clue.
Flywheel is like whoosh, we're sending the wheel around, and so the raw film gets cut into long form. Long form gets put on YouTube. Long form means 8 minutes, 12 minutes, 18 minutes, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, sometimes a full demo, 45 minutes. So my VA knows what those are supposed to be. She knows she needs to pull the demos, she needs to pull the good questions. And like this took us time, right? Because when I met her, she didn't know what the fuck hypnosis was. She didn't know what I was talking about.
Yeah.
So it took us time for her to understand, like, oh, that's a good question. Oh, that's a private conversation that we're not publishing on YouTube. Oh, that's something that will get good views. And by the way, a good VA is smart like that. A good VA, like, I don't know, a year or so ago, she was like, I'm going to talk myself out of a job right now, but I'm going to do it anyway. Because she was like, you get better views when I don't put covers on. And she's like, you're paying me to put covers on, but I'm watching your views. So she gave me such good feedback, which was totally accurate. I stopped putting the covers on and my views are better now. So you should work with your VA like that. Like I'm not the smartest person in the world. She was smarter about that. That's why that's her niche, right? So Flywheel is she cuts into long form, then she puts it into QSO AI or one of those reel creators, and it cuts it into those shorter reels. From there,
Okay.
I also have all my raw stuff like raw demo, raw, things cut out of the training, and those become content as well. So flywheel is you set the flywheel in motion by doing a course. Like that's the irony of teaching, right? Is you're paying me, but I'm getting a product out of it, right?
Hmm.
It's not the irony, but it's the smartness of
Well,
running a program like this. So
that's
that's
the
the whole
point.
exactly that's what I'm saying is the flywheel is to keep on making money on something you already made. So the idea
Okay.
so the idea is record along, then cut a long form, then cut a short form, then use that in your stories, in your, everywhere, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, fucking, I put it everywhere. You guys see the same shit all the time from me. Instagram, Facebook is repetitive. And by the way, let me remind you again, since we're doing business today, I'm going to do my welcome in a second, but I'm already on my tangent, so I might as well finish. Let me remind you again, the purpose of that content is repetition. It's not sales. So, like, yeah, you see me all the time. Isn't it true that you scroll by me half the time or more than half the time? You're like, oh, Maya again talking about fucking conversational hypnosis, like I don't know what that's about. But you're still here. It didn't matter that you skipped by me. You still paid me. You still came. So that's the whole point is it's not like, oh, I'm offended you didn't watch the whole thing. Oh, you missed 10 out of 12. It doesn't matter to me. Nothing matters to me. All that matters to me is eventually it grabs you and you buy something. And it's like that for the students. It's like that for the clients. Like that's the business. So I'm not thinking about, is this the right video to attract the right person to buy the thing? No, it doesn't matter to me. It's just like she creates content, she creates volume. I create a good product by teaching in a good way. The rest is just popularity and numbers and volume. Like Craig, you're doing a great job at it right now, and it probably hasn't caught on quite yet because you're just kind of in the beginning exploratory stages. And by the way, one of the problems with you is it's not clear what you're selling entirely. Like I get that you're selling the headset thing, but I don't know if there's another product in there or behind it. I don't think there is right now. But anyway, the point is you're doing great because I'm curious. I'm like, what's Craig up to? Is he going to come out with a workshop? Am I going to get to take it? Like that's what we want. And see, because you're publishing a lot, you're getting that interest, that viewership. I saw you had like 70, 80 likes the other day. That's a fucking shit ton of people. Let's say those 80 people all tell one person. Well, now you have 200 people who could potentially pay you $100 for a workshop, whatever. That's a lot big numbers. They seem small because we're just little tiny fish in a pond, but they're actually gigantic compared to what you'd get paid at like a regular job. So that's the whole fun of this. And by the way, like I'm still in the proof of concept stage. Like that's why I was excited this morning to say I rounded out that first 50 grand because you can't like go big with publication or with paid ads until that proof of concept is complete, right? Or not even complete, but underway. So it takes, that's why Melanie, you got to pay attention to this. It takes time to generate that momentum and that breadth of experience so that you can now take it to a larger audience. Like it wouldn't have made sense if I was like, oh, let's do a paid ad on day one of level one. Because I didn't know if it would work. I didn't know if the tech would work. I didn't know if you guys would understand what the fuck I was saying. But now it has like a thing behind it. So now I can stop thinking about the course creation. Well, obviously, I'm always thinking about that, and level three is going to be pretty neat. So it's all brand new. But the point is, then you can start to focus on marketing and growing the viewership. And that's why marketing and business and hypnosis are, a lot of balls to juggle. That's why, Melanie, you got to really think through like what happens in a day. And I wanted to talk about that, so I'll wait for Gilles to arrive because I know he's on his way before I do the intro, which is that comment from yesterday really like stuck with me all night, which is you make it look easy. Just dissolve that idea in your head right now because if you think this is going to be easy, if you think you're just going to sit down and transform people's lives, you're absolutely incorrect. That is not going to occur. Nobody is going to pay you big dollars just because you said you can do it. That's not going to happen. It's just not. So you got to really think through like, do I want, and I just want to interrupt myself and say, I myself am not sure. Like, I didn't know I signed up for this until I'm now like stuck in it. So you got to really think through like, is that something I can handle? Is it something I want? Do I want to be in a marketing position? Do I want to be public? Do I want my face out there? Like, if you have resistance to all of that, you got to rethink this as a business plan because it is not easy. I work all the time. Like, I'm constantly thinking about this business. And yes, I have work-life balance. Yes, I have kids. Yes, I don't like ruin my family time. But let's be honest, even then it's on my mind. It's like one of my babies. It is my baby. And it takes up a lot of energy to just think about how it survives, just like your own kids. Isn't it true? It takes up all your time and resources and money and thoughts to just make sure they're breathing and fed and healthy and have seen all the proper people. Well, your business is like that on crack, like on steroids. It's like that more. So it is not easy. You got to really think it through and be excited and interested to iterate and find out what happens as you go. Like this is also one of the most cool, coolest, weirdest, most far out experiences I've ever had in my life by a long shot. So I wouldn't trade it. So it's not easy. The other thing I want to say before I start today is um, what I've taught you over the last 2 days is how to go faster. Okay, but I don't want you to confuse that with how to do it. Okay, so like I just want to tell you all, I've watched you all, like I'm really good at listening to you guys do hypnosis, and you're all good. Everyone has done a good demo. Like Jody, you have a great instinct for it. You have a loving heart. Royce, and you have like a very smart mind. You have a very good hypnotic fascination. You have a great tone. Gilles, when you relax, you really like catch it very easily. You have a great personality. Everyone. So it's working. You don't need to do anything else. You don't need to change because who you are is the hypnosis. Like that's enough. So just think about these skills that I've added, especially the level 2 skills, as ways to get more proficient and faster. But it doesn't mean that you're like at square one where you don't know what you're doing. That's the whole point of being in an advanced course is now my skills can improve. Now I can get quicker. Now I can get more effective. Like the only thing I have really that's an edge on you is I've been in this position now to reflect on what is happening in the sessions, whereas you're just experiencing the sessions. It's like that's the whole thing with teaching is you get to like take it apart and look at it. So that's the only difference is when you hear me giving comments, you're like, oh, how did she know that was a clashing reality? Oh, how did she know that was a blah, blah, blah? You're asking that. But the only reason I know that is because I'm the one in the teacher seat who's trying to make that explicit to you. So if you really think it through, you have that instinct. It's just that you haven't had to verbalize it as much as I have. So I just want to like repeat to you that that skill is just about MOSing your business, which is making more money, which is going faster, which is having more confidence. But it doesn't mean that you don't know what you're doing. You do know what you're doing already. You knew that from level 1. Curiosity is all you need. Curiosity plus categories is a shortcut. Curiosity plus motivation is a extra shortcut. And then when you learn to pile them and cut out everything in between that's not one of those things, that's a one-hit wonder breakthrough. Where we get into 2, 3, 6 sessions is where it's like, oh, but there was a whole 20 minutes there where none of those things happened, which is not bad. I mean, it's not like it's a waste of time. But, it's just like the dentist. If they leave you in the seat for 20 minutes while you're, sort of in pain and they go to fix their machine or whatever, like at some point that gets a little bit whatever. It's the same with hypnosis. It's just like get it done as fast as you can so I can leave. So it's a speed product that we're doing over these 2 days. It's not that you don't know the original skill. Okay, what did you guys say in the chat? So thank you. Oh, Jody is over more of her problems. I'm loving that. Fantastic. That's so funny, Royston, because I woke up last night too, and I thought of Jody too. I thought of myself up in the middle of the night, and I
That's
thought,
amazing.
that's so cute. I was like,
I
I'm so
haven't woke up at that time for ages.
me neither. And I
Well,
saw
because
it.
I've been having a problem sleeping for
That's
weeks.
so funny.
And I got back on track and I woke up at 3 a.m. last night and I thought, oh, I wonder will Jody eat cookies?
It's so funny you said that because I thought this morning when I
Yeah.
woke up, they hypnotized me to wake up at this time to think about Jody.
Yeah.
Why did I? So I was like,
And what
part of the
uh,
hypnosis. I know.
yeah.
I know.
I
Can
thought,
I
and then
just
I
say
thought about
too?
making healthy snacks for myself.
hmm Can I just say too that I made the healthy snack at dinner, like got it all ready at dinner time, so I could just, grab the bowl and not be like tired grabbing the popcorn because that's what I normally do.
Yep.
And I also did not eat a freezy in the middle of the night.
I love
I
that.
had a hot flash, and freezes are the only thing that seems to work. I just like got up, wimpy, came back to bed, and rolled over and grabbed the bear, grabbed Jamie, and that was it.
You got the bear.
That was it.
See, Royson, you did that.
Yep.
See
No,
how
Jody.
so easy.
It was a collab.
It was. It really
hmm
was. But so cool. I love that.
What is a
That's so
freezy?
cool.
What'd you say?
What?
What's a
That's
freezy?
crazy.
You
It's
don't
like a
what's a
popsicle and a
frisbee?
what's a
Craig,
free?
are you
What?
serious? Okay, everybody, we have to stop the course. You don't know
I'll
what a frisbee is?
I'll send you a picture of a freezy.
That's like my define my childhood.
Oh yeah.
Freezing?
And they're like
It's like a popsicle in a plastic
in
long
plastic.
tube, and the kids like push it up until, and it's like
Oh,
just made of like complete trash garbage, but it's like a
Oh,
frozen,
it's such shit. It's
but it's
frozen
like a
sugar water.
very, yeah, it's frozen sugar water and coloring. But I mean, it's such a popular thing for kids. Okay, so what were any questions, by the way? Okay, so I wanted to just summarize the speed thing and the it's not easy thing. Today we're going to do business. We're going to be done with the skill. Just remember on the skill question, this Thursday we have practice. So if you didn't get to practice in one of the demos, just come on Thursday. It's free. I mean, it's open, not free, but if you're in this course, it's free. It's open to you. And then on the 21st, which is the week after at 10 a.m., we have the discovery call, which I'm going to do it right now, like the theory, but I'm not going to actually do a demo of the discovery call because that takes an hour. So I'm setting it in a different course so that you have some, separation between this skill and that skill because they're different. But I'm going to bridge them right now. I'm going to show you how motivation is what bridges discovery call to successful session. So we have those coming up. There's also more incubator coming up. There's the holiday party. We have more opportunities to hang out and train together. So we're going to take a pause on demos for the moment and work on the sales skill. So having said that, do you have any questions on what we've done this past 10 hours or 12 hours, whatever it's been? Do you need me to review it and summarize it, or do you feel ready? You want to move on? You want to review it and summarize it? Yes?
Yeah, a little
Yeah.
review is always good.
Okay, let's just do a 10-minute or 5-minute review. So let's go all the way back. Level 1. What are the principles of level 1? The basic principles. And I'm going to talk about principles a lot today, so it's good that we're looking at it again. First
Curiosity.
principles. First principles. Yes, good. Curiosity. And let's say what it means.
Hypnotic
Curiosity.
fascination.
Yeah, hypnotic fascination, which means do what action-wise?
Listen.
Yeah, and it,
Investigate.
investigate or interview is the other word. Exactly. So curiosity is linked to the hypnotic interview, which is the heart of conversational hypnosis, which is what's the problem? Why is it a problem? Why is this problem, something you're bringing to hypnosis? What do you want instead? All of that is hypnotic fascination and curiosity built into the problem interview. It doesn't mean you can't use it in other ways, but that's the original way. What are we looking for when we're doing the interview? There's two things. There's two
UM.
UMs.
main UMs, unconscious moments. Yes. First thing we're looking for is unconscious moments. Second thing we're looking for is just think about it. You don't need to look at your notes. What are you doing when you're interviewing? You're investigating what?
the root problem.
Yeah, you're exactly correct. You're just investigating the problem. Why does it exist? What's it creating? What is the side effect? Who's affected by this? All of the stuff related to why the client believes this is a problem for them. Whether that's true or not is not really interesting, but it is the purpose of the interview. Hey, Jill.
Morning.
Welcome back. We just started. We did some review to start. And actually, we're still doing reviews, so we haven't quite started. So you're right on time. So we're talking about level 1 is curiosity. Out of the curiosity is the hypnotic interview. Out of the hypnotic interview are two results: unconscious moments and data about the client. That's what we're doing only at the outset. What's the purpose of finding out what the client's unconscious moment is?
Tying the knots.
Yeah, exactly. We find out if there's a knot there. If they give you a conscious answer, what do you do?
Ignore it.
Yeah, I mean, ignore it, maybe pay a little attention, but dig in deeper where you're being shown is the unconsciousness, not the consciousness. Okay, so then we add a layer in level 2. What's the layer we added first? So remember my little stacking, because in level 3, this is going to be very important. Bottom layer, I have to do a slide, which I haven't made yet. Bottom layer, curiosity, investigate problem, unconscious moments, bottom layer. Second tier of the cake is level 2,
Motivation.
motivation. And why, Gilles, do we have to add that?
Because it opens a door to choice and change.
Beautiful answer. Exactly. Because choice exists where the problem is not the whole focus. So if we avoid motivation, or if you don't take level 2, you're kind of like missing 80% of the project. Because you can untie a knot all day long, but if the client has no idea what to do at that time or energy, they're going to find it again. And by the way, that's also why level 3 is important, because that void is very important to focus on. So that's why we're going to have to do one more level of things. So without motivation, there's no fuel to change. That's the bottom line. And the nice thing is, if somebody books a discovery call with you, it's implied that they're motivated. Because why else would they have done that? So there's some motivation there somewhere. No chance that there's zero, unless somebody else forced them to make the appointment, in which case they're not a good candidate, and you'll find that out right away. Okay, so you add the motivation, which is fuel, momentum. Also, it adds the joy. Also, it adds the, things to enjoy in the conversation. And what does that create in terms of the tone? The
Possibility.
tone, yeah,
Excitement.
possibility. Excitement, exactly. What's the tone of problem solving? What's the tone of level 1?
Like an inquisition, pressure.
Yeah, exactly. To
Kind
me,
of
it's,
meh.
yeah,
It's
exactly. It
kind of
has
like,
it's that fire slide to me that I have, which is like the whole thing is a little bit like, so I have a little Harry Potter vibe to it, like,
mhm,
problems go away, and it's like, ah, the people are just like a little bit like, oh, that was a lot. So yeah, it has the man feel. It has a little inquisitive, inquisitional feel, not inquisitive, but a little bit too direct and too edgy.
mhm,
Then you add the motivation to it, and it's like, oh, the reason we're doing that is so that we can dance in this bigger space. So to me, it goes from black and white to technicolor. Like it goes from black and white problem solving to like full spectrum glitter. Oh, we can talk about anything in this person's life and still get to the problem anyway. So that's the other benefit of the motivation, is it gives you all kinds of things to talk about, which lead to unconscious moments, which I did not tell you that in level 1, that there are other ways to get to the unconscious mind. And they don't all have to be like through problems. They can be through joy. They can be through what did you do? They can be through tell me more about that. So everything becomes hypnotic at that point. That's when you become a really standout type of therapist, because nobody knows what you're doing anymore. You're just talking and everything seems to be working. Why is that? Because everything is hypnotic in the end. Everything is hypnosis. But now you know that it doesn't have to be hypnotic just because I start saying, what's the problem? No, as soon as I walk in the door, it's already hypnosis. Oh, hi, nice to see you. What's going on? Already hypnotic. My room is full of all these weird objects. As soon as they sit down, everybody's like, oh, your office. This is already hypnosis. And then they ask me something like, oh, what is that? Where'd you get that? And I start saying something. It's already hypnotic. Everything's hypnotic in here. That's because of the motivation piece. If you didn't have that, it wouldn't be that. You would be stepping in and out of regular conversation, and what's the problem? Okay, so now add to motivation. Now we're going to step it up even more. What else is in that second tier? Now we're getting more specific and more speedy. This is very important for speed.
Categories.
Exactly. Okay, so
mhm.
now tell me more about that. You're doing a great job. These are the principles exactly. I'm very happy that it's coming out this way, because it seems to me that teaching it in modules is really showing you guys that you can just layer and layer, and it's getting easier and easier. So you're right, motivation, then categories. Why categories?
Um,
It gives us a neighborhood to be in.
Perfect word. That's the right word. And why do you need a neighborhood?
Because if I don't have a neighborhood, I'm kind of just looking at the whole map going, what the fuck?
Exactly. It's just a lot of data. Like, let's be honest. And by the way, sometimes you say, what's the problem? And 15 minutes later, they stop talking.
Mhm.
Isn't that true? Or sometimes you'll say, what's the problem? You'll get 15 pieces of information which seem to have a scattershot effect. And so the reason for categories is if you're new, or even if you're not new and you feel like, what the hell was that? That was a lot. Instead of freaking out, instead of being like, oh, fuck, what am I curious about? I'm curious about 15 things, which you could do that. That would work too. But you could also say, what is the dominant field that that person just shared with me? And how do I move them across that bridge? That's it. So you can pause at that moment and assess it. Did they just judge themselves? Did they just present a series of beliefs? Did they just share their past results, which have convinced them that some X and Y is not possible? Like, what kind of client is this? What kind of problems have they generated? And what neighborhood do they live in? When you know that about your niche or about a specific client, you get faster at choosing what kind of question to ask next. What else about the categories? Does it have to be one category at a time?
Mm-mm.
Like, what
No,
do
you
you
can
do?
have different categories.
What do you do then? What if it's judgment and past results, which often go together? What do you do then?
Trust your gut,
Yeah, trust your gut, go with your
or
intuition, or
which
experiment.
is more prominent, which
Yeah.
feels bigger.
Or just let them coexist. I mean, it's not mutually exclusive. Also, you'll notice that if you go ahead and read through level 2 questions, many of them are also on the level 1 sheet. So it's not like I made them mutually exclusive. I mean, I was going to look at the level 2 sheet with you. Who benefits from this? Who is this harmful for? Is this your belief? Are you really ready for this? Those could fit fine in level 1 as well. So they all cross together. Like, there's not discrete categories when we're talking about the quantum field. Everything is a crossover. These are just concepts to help you to distill it in your own mind so that it becomes a skill instead of a guess. Okay, now add on to categories. What's the next level of clarity? And do you see why this is a master's course now, an advanced course? Because all of those things are happening behind the scenes in your complex mind, which is doing the work. What happens next after categories? It's like a kaleidoscopic effect, right? Depends on how far back you go, what perspective you get. So it's like having zoom on all the time. Like, you can zoom right in, you can zoom out a little, you can decide where you're gonna go. Okay, now add another layer.
Unconscious payoff, clashing realities.
Hmm.
You're doing great, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Root cause
Root cause.
and double bind hypothetical. Why did I, and that's not an exhaustive list, but those are the major ones. Why did I add those there? And what are they? What kind of ideas are those?
They're like our blind spots.
Yeah, they're
Mhm.
blind spots the clients all carry. Exactly. That's a good way to look at it. They're conceptual constructs that help you to understand why the client is stuck there. Why is the client caught here? Because they believe two bullshit ideas that don't agree with each other. Okay. And you might just think that as an instinct. Like, very often I just have that instinct to ask, well, is that true? Like, people say, like, well, I don't deserve that. Okay, well, do you or don't you? So I don't think to myself at that moment, oh, that's a belief. I should ask them to clarify that. I don't go through that extra step. It's just obvious to me that that's what it is. But if you want to put words to it, you could say, oh, it's a clashing reality. That betrays a belief, which is in the categories. That leads me to facts. So you can explain out why you do each thing that you do. I hope that also gives you confidence that you're not just bullshitting people and making shit up. Like it's so easy to think, oh, I'm a charlatan, this is just like all made up in my head. But it's not. Go back to each of the demos yesterday and watch how I gave you an analysis of every single step. But if I know what's happening at every step, and if it's a technical thing, it's not just a haphazard guess. Well, if it's not a haphazard guess, then how the hell did we come up with all that? That's why it's expensive. Because go ahead and try to get someone else to do that or try to explain it to somebody. It's not as easy as it looks at all, is it? Now we're back to, is it easy? No, it's really not that easy. It's not that easy.
Can I pause you for a second? You said explain that to them when you're talking about the clashing realities, blind spots, stuff like that. You go ahead and call that out directly to your client.
I don't name it to them because
Okay.
all of the background is irrelevant to them. Like it doesn't matter to them if they know that's a regression. Look, that just happened because they don't know what that is. It's too technical. But you know, and you knowing makes you know what to do next.
Yeah.
But
Okay,
yeah, but the answer is also yes, you would call it out if you hear it. Like I heard you have a clashing reality yesterday, which was like, I'm gonna make 100 grand working 5 hours a week. I'm like, well, that's nonsense. Like that's just actually unfactually true. So I did call it out. I said to you, like, well, how are you gonna do that? Like, have you really considered it? So I heard the clashing reality. Jody heard the clashing reality. We questioned you about it. Did we teach you what it was? No. Is it relevant? Not really. But it helped you to understand, oh, my subconscious better rethink this. And I bet you $1 million, I don't even need to bet because I know I'm right. When you left that call yesterday, your subconscious started to be like, oh, so that's what I need to do to make the 100 grand. Can I do that now? Probably your mind said, no, I can't do it right now. When can I do it? So now your mind starts to like come up with a plan. That's hypnosis. It's nothing more than that. People think it's magic. People think it's fucking some fucking shady shit. It's not. It's your mind having a possibility now to consider what it wants to do in a clear way instead of in a confounded and bullshit way. That's why it's the no bullshit method. Because I took out all the bullshit, both in your own head and in my methodology.
Yeah. What did you say? Oh, yesterday you said you're a realist. You're a realist. And that, yeah, this method is very attached to that thought.
Except for except for the weird thing about it is it's the most realist and the most idealistic. That's why I love it, by the way. Like that's why I'm built for this. That's why it's a dream job for me because I can't find a job like that anywhere where I can be like fully in the real, fully in the spirit, fully in the, hey, let's get down to reality. And also dream the biggest dream for yourself, believe the biggest thing you want, put all of the confidence and effort you can into your own life. It's really hard to hold those two things together. And by the way, all my life I thought I would be a therapist, but I could never sign up for it. I mean, I have so much education, it's ridiculous, right? But I could just never bring myself to go in that direction because I was like, I just don't care about people's problems. I just don't want to sit there and listen. I can't be the receptacle of people's garbage. So I always avoided it. I'm serious. Then I found this and I was like, oh, this is a way I can have that same impact and that same entry point without being the collector, the trash collector. So to me, this is like the answer to a prayer or to a dream that I've always had. And the fact that it connects the beyond with the now and the tragedy of life with the possibility of life, like that's the truest expression of what I believe. And that's why I'm so like able to carry that torch. So to me, it's both. It's realism and it's also like possibility. And I'm gonna like sell you the hell out of that for the next 3 hours today. And if you don't believe in this ideal possibility thing over here, you won't have a great practice either. That's why I'm teaching today what I'm teaching, which is have a bigger dream, which seems like a cheesy bullshit class, but actually it's extremely important to making big money in this business. Because at the end of the day, why are people calling me? Why are people hiring me? because they really believe that I have a connection to something that they can't find. Well, what is that? It's something like spirit, love, joy. Otherwise, they would pick an armchair therapist. So that's what I'm going to show you today about like how I cultivate my big dream and how I cultivate my faith in people's possibilities. Because it's really like a cornerstone of the sales being successful, and it has very little to do with actually performing the sessions. That's why it's a whole different part of the course. So I like that you said that. It's like hardcore realism, but it's also hardcore big dreams. And it's also, as we were texting last night, Melanie, it's the most ninja thing you've ever done, and also the sweetest, softest thing you've ever done. Like another thing that I love about it. It's like so fucking crazy how hardcore it is. I'm gonna take your problem away in 2 hours. Watch me. It's like super magical, but also it's gonna feel so warm and fuzzy and safe. So it's a lot of interesting dynamics going on here that most people can't hold on to all in one experience. And I hope all of those answers are continually telling you why it's expensive. And I hate even saying it's expensive because it's not. It's not that expensive at all when you think about everything I just said. Who else is doing that? Who else knows how? Who else gives you that venue in your life to see the whole? Who else can offer you that conversation? And it doesn't even matter how great your delivery is. Like I've been watching one of the students is posting clips from her. Like some of it is it's not fully developed yet, but it's still working just fine because the questions are so far out that people are excited to answer them. So it doesn't matter where you begin and how it goes. It matters that it's original and different. Okie doke. Any other questions? You know who I am. I'm Maya Alapin. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not a mental health care practitioner. I don't make claims to cure any diseases. Anything I say in here is based on my clinical experience. Please don't take it out of context. Please don't publish anything without my permission. The whole thing is recorded. Okay, let's move on to do the morning course or the part A course, and then we'll do the part B course. So this is extremely, I would say, valuable and important because without this part of the course, where does the money come from? Like it's all fine and good to say you're good at categories and you're good at this and that, but do you have someone in front of you to sell it to and to do it with? So that's why this part of the course matters so much. This is the motivational discovery call. So it's a continuity from the last 2 days because without motivation, there's no point in holding a discovery call. Nobody's going to buy anything if they're not motivated to buy it. So the only way to get people to pay you is to be sure they're sufficiently motivated. So this is how the motivational discovery call works. You guys recognize these little green balls? What are those representing?
Change,
Yeah, but also
solution.
solutions, resources. Exactly. So that's the problem is for the client, they're outside of their little head. When they call you, they're stuck in this problem. When they call you, they're in this shell. They don't know how to get out of it. What is happening on this motivational discovery call is you're starting to break open what has been closed for them for so long, which is, hey, there's another choice that you hadn't considered yet, which is the hypnotic choice. And inside the hypnotic choice, there's going to be a lot of opportunity, and I'm going to tell you about it on the discovery call. So we're taking them from here to here. This is important therapeutically. Why?
Because it sets up the hypnotic interview and gives them the like, what's the problem? Oh, they're open to the like, yeah, what's the problem? Because I know now there's pieces out there.
And what's crazy about that, Jody, this is extremely interesting and important. It took me a long time to really understand this is if the problem is there, so is the solution. They
Hmm.
go hand in hand, right? So if the person comes in front of you at the discovery call with their problem, somewhere behind that in their subconscious are these green balls. And so it doesn't matter if I know what they are, or if they know what they are, or if anybody ever gets to enunciate what they are. What matters is the act of coming to the discovery call is bringing these somewhere into the field. That's a really far out concept. Really consider how weird it is. It's all invisible. Okay, we're making like gross claims about gross meaning large claims about the field and how it works. Well, I am anyway. And what I'm saying is when these come on the scene is how I think about them. I read that in a book somewhere years ago and it always stayed with me. When they come on the scene, then the subconscious at least gazes at them. Some clients look at them and are like, oh, I feel a change. I would say 30% of my clients are like, something's happening. Are you doing something? Like immediately. They're like, something's happening. I feel something. And they're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I don't know. Nothing's happening. So though that 30%, because I'm not actually hypnotizing them on the discovery call because I don't think that's ethical exactly. But what's happening? Why are they saying something is going on? I feel different. Why is it that people show up to my first session and are like, I don't know, I started to feel different right away? Not because of me, I mean, partly because of my good priming, but really because these green balls appeared in their field and they don't get why. Well, why did they appear? Because the problem appeared in focus. So the motivational discovery call has everything to do with using the motivational conversation, not to solve anything, because that would be dumb, because then you wouldn't make any money, but to create this opening and this possibility. How are we going to do that? That's the conversation we're going to have now. Hey, does this look familiar? Anybody?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
So what do you see here? And what does this have to do with the discovery call? I mean, I couldn't make it any simpler, right? It's the exact, literally same concept that you just used to solve problems, but now you're going to use it to sell. And by the way, let's not bullshit. Discovery call means sales call. I have all these coaches and people out here being like, never sell anything, never. Like, no, that's the point of the call. The call is to collect cash. The call is not to make friends, interview people. Yes, the call is also to discriminate against people who are not qualified to work with you. I do think that safety is important. But at the end of the day, it's a sales call. Why would we use the same categories to do a sales call as we do to get people through their problems? What is the point of this?
Well, it helps you identify where they are so you can motivate them out of it or cross the bridge.
Okay, so
Show them, give them an experience.
are we going to motivate them out of it on the call?
No,
So what's the difference then?
it's subtler.
Yeah, it's subtler. It's a place to go, but without untying any knots.
It's an imagine if.
Right.
Can
Exactly.
what would it be like? What would happen?
Even that, I'm very careful about because if you do too much of let's dream it up, their subconscious will take over and fix it. So even that, I'm very weary of. But yes, that's the right idea. The idea is whatever they say back to you, whatever you hear from them, don't untie. That's only for sessions. So we're leaving level one. This is another reason it's good to have them separated out so you know which one to do on the discovery call. Don't untie any knots. You will have the instinct to do it because some of them are so obvious and easy. But if you do that, there's two problems. A, I didn't make any money. B, it's not responsible. It is very irresponsible to help people through text, Melanie, through
Hmm.
discovery call, because that's not really very serious. And if there are any side effects or abreactions, who's there to help them? Nobody. That's not responsible. You cannot
And they
do that.
haven't given you consent.
Exactly. It's
Until
not
they sign that contract,
exactly.
there's no consent.
And that is very important because an integration process is implied in my job. I don't know if it is in your protocol, but it is in mine. And that matters to me. I do want to hear a follow-up. I do want people to know they can call me if they have any issues. I do want people to let me know if everything goes to shit and they need more help. But if they didn't buy anything, you have no relationship with them. So it's not okay to solve problems on the call. It's not even okay to hint at what the solutions are. But what you can do is use the categories to get people excited. So if you hear past results, you want to open them to choice without solving it. If you hear stuff that's confused, you want to ask them something about how to get to clarity, but without solving it. I'm going to put that into more context in a minute, but I just want you to see the like overarching idea. So the categories are the same for neighborhood orientation. You guys remember this? It's also a slide from yesterday or the day before. Same concept. Discovery call. Detach from sales. Detach from, I don't mean detach from sales because I want you to sell, but what I mean is be human on that call. Don't be the robotic, like, and this is my product and this is what it's going to cost and this is what's going to happen. That therapy monster doesn't do well connecting to people. So you have to be human on this call. Oh, hi, it's nice to meet you. You know, the human version of yourself, the non-judgmental version of yourself, the lowered resistance version of yourself who's curious. Same idea as a regular call, extend unconscious moments. You see one, ask them what they're feeling. Don't resolve it, but ask them to investigate it further. When they're expressing their pain, investigate their pain, obviously, because you want to heighten that. Columbo approach works well in the discovery call too. Oh, I don't know about that because I just met you, so tell me more of what you mean. Oh, that's interesting. Can you explain that further? Oh, I've never heard that one before. What do you mean by that? Anything kind of casual, and I'm lying some of the time. Like, of course I've heard some of those before, but I want them to feel like I really heard them. Hypnotic monologue. So all the same characteristics of a session, but attenuated for a non-solution based 30 or 40 minutes. Mine take about 40, 45 minutes now. They used to take an hour. This is the structure of that call. This is an important slide. We're going to spend a minute on it. The red line is what people start with on the strategy call. So this is an important point on strategy calls. Only talk when you hear an objection. Only talk when you hear a not. Be quiet the rest of the time because the client is revealing themselves to you and why they came. So this is a lower involvement type of call because it's more about listening so that you can really understand the client's purpose. The only time I take extensive notes in my practice is now on this call. I know, Jody, because I taught you to. And the reason is because verbatim what they said is important. Not, oh, I want to lose weight to feel better. If they said, I want to lose 15 pounds to wear this dress at a wedding, write those words down. The dress is purple with green dashes, whatever. Write all that down because that's exactly what they're asking you for. They're being very specific in that moment. Write all that down. Write down anything they say that's personal. Write down names. Write down data. Everything, because you're going to have to feed that back to them. And if you forget, you're the one who's losing money. So I take extensive notes here. And while I'm taking notes, I'm listening. I'm really listening. I'm still doing all my EVP. I'm still looking. I'm still connecting. But I tell them, hey, I'm going to take some notes right now. I'm still listening to you. Then I only talk when they reveal a problem. This is why this isn't going to work. This is why I'm not a good candidate. This is why I'm not sure about that. Oh, that sounds expensive. All of those are when I use my motivation back and ask something back. When you hear those knots, don't solve. You have two choices, maybe three choices. One is here. They say, well, I've had this problem for 40 years. What are the chances that I could really get over it? And you say, that's funny you should say that because just 2 weeks ago, I had a client who had a very similar problem, but she had had it for 30 years, not 20 years. And this is what happened to her. And not only is that what happened to her, but also I saw, a post from her recently, and she was doing X and Y, which was so much more than she had asked for. So I'm giving a little anecdote there when I hear the not. That's motivational. So I'm sharing my past experiences and my past clients for the purpose of motivating the potential customer. Let's do another example of those. What do people say on the calls that are objections, that are classic objections?
I've tried everything and nothing works.
Right. So then give a past client anecdote from your practice, Jody.
Oh, you want me to give one?
Yeah.
So
See,
I had a woman say to me, I've tried everything and nothing works. And I said, okay, so, and I could say, so I had a client a couple weeks ago, and this is actually true. I had a client a couple weeks ago who has tried Weight Watchers and Jenny Craig and hypnosis, or not hypnosis. What else has she tried?
EMDR,
She tried,
CBT.
yeah, she tried all of that. And she is now down 5 pounds
Yep.
and not eating sugar. The food noise at night is gone.
Yep.
She's like,
Yep.
she's
And you
not
say,
snacking.
yep. And she just texted me this and that happened, and this is what she's feeling. And guess how many sessions I had with her? And then you just give it back to the client. Guess how quick we
Like
did.
2 sessions.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
you see how we're playing a little repartee where I'm like, and it was so crazy. And this is what happened to her. And the really, really weird thing was it only took me 2 visits. And that's how she got her results. You see how casual I'm just saying, like, hey, let me tell you a story about yourself. And this is also why it's like, I'm not going to listen to you guys tell me you don't have enough reviews and experiences, because that's the whole reason to go ahead and try and practice, because now you have a selection of stories to tell. If you never go out there and do it, then there never going to be any anecdotes. So past clients is one way to motivate your potential customers. Another way is this way, to educate them. So if you've already taken my discovery call class, which some of you have, you see that there's a whole educational component in it where I'm talking about the mind, where I'm talking about plasticity, where I'm talking about synaptic, function, where I'm talking about the nervous system. Well, why am I doing that? I'm building credibility. I'm encountering their objection with information. That's motivational as well. It's not untying the knot. It's not doing any problem solving, but it's helping their subconscious to open up to, oh, maybe there's another way. Oh, maybe there's something I hadn't considered yet. That's where we come really into abnormal thinking. So, do I overly educate? No, because they don't really care about all the details. They just want to talk about themselves. That's the truth. But do I think this has a place? I definitely think it has a place. Also in creating consent, also in minimizing the questions they ask you when they hang up from that call. So, past clients and education are your motivational tools in the context of the categories. Your experience also. It's the same thing as past clients. Well, kind of. So this is what happens. Client comes in, problem, 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 problem. It's sucking. My life is over. I hate myself. Everything sucks. Okay, let me tell you about one of my past clients. Okay, I'm still stuck. I still don't like this conversation. I'm still not happy. Okay, let me give you some experience. Okay, but it's still not going to work. I don't believe in hypnosis. Okay, education. And maybe you circulate around this 8 times. Maybe it's 3 times. Maybe it's 15 times. If it's 20 or 40 times, they're not a good candidate. Get rid of them. Like I can tell sometimes this is not going anywhere, and then I'm just like, okay, let's stop. I'd say 10% of my calls are like that, maybe 5 at this point. But so this is not a bad thing. This is just saying, hey, you got to come to work today and get this person unstuck from this. Don't unstick them so much that they don't need you after that. What you want is for them to leave that call thinking like that person knows what they're talking about and probably can get me out of this, and I can't think of another way to do it. That's what you want, is for them to be like, oh, that was a weird conversation. It's not like all the other interviews I've done. Sometimes
Can you
people,
give an
Mm.
sorry, can you give an example of how a past client story is different than an experience? Whatever, like how, like I understand past clients and I understand education. When you highlighted experience, how do you like, what would that sound like? I guess that's what I'm asking.
I think that's more of like, it's a good question. Actually, when I was just looking at this graph, I was thinking maybe I want to just take that out and collapse these into two. But I mean, I think experience is kind of like a collection of past clients or a collection of clinical trials. So you have a lot to say on this question because, you've seen these problems from every angle.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's exactly what you would say is, well, over 20 years, I've seen that from lots of perspectives, not all of which I've heard you talk about today. And maybe you want to say more about it. Maybe you want to just talk about your experience in general. But I
Okay.
mean, the idea here is everything that you say on that call is not untying, is not hypothetical um, interview, is not a hypnotic interview, but it's more like motivational sharing, whether it's from your clinic, whether it's from your client base, whether it's your MOS list, whether it's education about the mind. So everything in that call is oriented towards motivation and filling gaps, which allow the subconscious to latch onto something other than the problem. And that's why it's actually not as hard as it looks because the subconscious is super smart, right? As long as you open a little, pathway, like even 2% angle, it's enough to let the light in where they're like, oh, I feel my subconscious is doing something. And that feeling is provocative to them. And if you can do it even a little more, some people open all the way up. I'm getting good at like getting the whole clamshell to open then so that when I come to the session, they're like, and I just blow on them kind of and they're done. That's how I see it now, is like what I want is for them to be right on the edge of the cliff at the discovery call, like so excited. Like I can't wait. When's your next opening? That's what I want, is for people to be like, okay, how soon can I book in? That's really cool. And then during those days that they're waiting for it, their mind is like, then they come in and I'm like, and they're like, oh, how did you do that? That's the idea, right? And I mean, I'm exaggerating, obviously. You guys know I work harder than that, but that's the whole idea, is like they're right there. They're so excited. They're so ready. Like I try not to judge you all, and I know life is complicated, but like I can see who's gonna get somewhere just by like what time you show up to class. I'm not judging you, Gilles. I know you have a kid and stuff to do, but like some students are always here at 11:51. Like they have already opened their Zoom and they're ready. It does tell me something. I'm not saying I'm judging it, but it's the same with the clients. When they get that excited that they're like in the waiting room early, or they're like texting you a half an hour before, like, do I have the time right? Is this it? Do I have the link? It's like, it's not that they don't know, they do. It's just that they're like, they want your attention right now. Like, let's do it. It doesn't bother me when they're doing that. I'm just like so happy that they're so attached to me and so into this whole thing. And that's why I'm never late. That's why I'm always ready, because I'm meeting that excitement like right where they give it to me. I want to be always matching that level of, hey, let's get this done right now, because I created it. So it's so important to create that motivation so that when they arrive, they're like putty, like it's like already easy to work with them. If I don't do that well, if I don't prepare them well, it's just harder on me, is the truth. Either I miss the sale, which sucks, or it's hard to work with them, which also sucks. So that's why this course right now and this call right now is like extremely valuable. Because if you do this effectively and motivate effectively on this call, then this is what happens. oh, now this is all cleared. Motivation, motivation, motivation. Where do I pay? How much is it? Where do I pay? Some people don't even ask me the price anymore. They're just like, hey, where do I send the money? That's what they want to know. What do you do? How does it work? What's the price? I always do that at the end of the call. I don't do it at the beginning. And then we just loop back to the beginning. Wouldn't it be great if this went away? Wouldn't it be great if you were that person that I just told you about up here? Wouldn't that be nice if that were you? And they're like, yeah, that would be the best. Okay, here's my PayPal. Let's get it done. When are you free? So you just loop back to the original problem until this pipe is clear. So this is the same as level 2 education, which is listen, 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 clear leaves. Listen, 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 clear leaves. Listen, 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 clear leaves. Oh, open pipe, open gutter. And this is sold. Here's sold. By the way, the better you get at this, the more people start doing this work for you. Then you get a referral that has no objections. I just had one last week. She was like, I already got the warmest referral for you. I'm like, well, you have to come to the discovery call anyway. She comes and it was already this. It was just green all the way through. She was like, okay, cool. That sounds great. Yes, yes. Okay, sure. All right. See you Tuesday. $3,000, $2,800 on that one. Well, that's pretty cool. Another one of these is, oh, 3 weeks ago, the client gives you objection, objection, objection. At the end, they say, I'm not sure, I'll think about it, or I'm kind of busy right now, I don't know. Okay, fine. But then they leave and they do this work on their own. And then guess what happens? You get a booking without any word, and the money appears in your account. Why? Because when they went off to process that discovery call, which felt like this, they did this. That's why I don't chase them down either, because I don't want to raise another flag. I just want them to process. If it was right and if I did a good job, they're going to do this and then they're going to book in and be like, hey, I booked in. I hope that's okay with you. And I'm always like, of course, my system is working perfectly. That's why you need all your infrastructure in place, by the way, because I don't want them to have to call me at that point and be like, hey, I have decided to book. Because why? That puts me back here. I don't want to be back here. I just want this. If your infrastructure runs correctly and is smooth all the way through, then clients can take over and do the work for you. And by the way, that's another reason having a clean back end really matters, because all those things should happen without you. Like I just sit here and like I see, oh, that person booked in. Oh, I got a payment. Like not everything is using my time and attention. It's all happening. And that's the whole reason why Melanie does take time and effort, because the whole day is like that. Wake up in the morning, publish something. Oh, somebody makes a payment. Oh, got to transfer it into your account. Oh, got to email that person back with it. That's the whole thing. That's the whole thing of being in business. You want all of that to run without your input as much as possible so that you have this. The easiest way to do that is to use motivation so the client wants to do it on their own. And they want to change on their own too, by the way. That's the whole thing, right? It goes all the way through. Oop. So what I'm doing is listening to what the client needs and leveraging whatever they say as their own motivation. If they say, hey, I'm afraid of planes, but I really want to go on vacation with my husband, for the holidays, but I don't want to go on the airplane, then I just bring it back to that all the time. Well, what is it going to be like to go on that trip? How bad do you want it? I'm going to motivate them into wanting this outcome. So whatever their reason is, I write it down and then I feed it back to them in their welcome email. And then I let them process that and prepare for their session without my input. So here's what you're going to do on the strategy call. You're going to motivate using question cycles. You're going to uncover blocks just like you do in a regular call. And when you find those blocks, which you're going to identify because they are obviously unconscious moments, you're going to do one of three things. Hypnotic monologue, which is motivation. Maybe they're ready to hear your offer. maybe you offer past client stories or experience. Those are your only options. I don't want you to do anything else on that discovery call. Either motivate them. So that means use level 2, use the categories, investigate the blocks, investigate the problems without untying them, just on the motivation level. Or tell them, okay, are you ready to pay? Are you ready to sign up? Or let me tell you something about that I've done before. You want through these 3 processes to make the client see you as the only way out. Like, I will say that at this point, I don't feel that people are booking me based on niche. They're just booking me based on reputation or like status or something like that. So they just see me as the hypnotist who can do it. You know what I mean? Like, I have this kind of cornered part of the market now where it's like, well, she seems to be able to do it, go to her. But that's really just me, my character now. They see me as a way out of the problem. That's how I've gotten past the niche as the only entry point. That's what you're going towards. And where did I get that idea? Is from Erickson. Erickson didn't niche. Erickson didn't tell people, hey, it's this for that. It was just like, when you're in my presence, your problems go away. I'm not there yet, but that's the idea ultimately, because that's what takes you to a really high dollar one-to-one product and makes people want to study with you. So you want them to see you as the way out, you as the character or the personality. That's why having all of your story out there, I think, is important, even if that's not the selling tool. So how do you prepare for this is, who are your best clients? It seems so easy, like, oh, I'll think of that later, or I'll think of that when I'm on that call, but that's not a good strategy. The good strategy is right now, think about who are your best 3 clients, your best 3 results, and what happened, and what problem did they start with, and where did they end up? There's a few stories that I always tell because they're just like epic stories. Like, I always tell the story of the guy who changed from red apples to green apples after he, came for his strategy call about his cat allergy. This is such a weird story. Guy comes, says, I have a cat allergy. Okay, cat allergy has nothing to do with why you're here, right? No, why I'm really here is because I'm a lead cellist at the Montreal Symphony, and I still have stage fright, even though I lead the whole section, and I'm still having nerves. Okay, so you're here for stage fright, not for allergies. Okay, then he comes and sits in the session, and he has advanced OCD, like very advanced, like flicking the lights, pants on and off, the whole 9 yards. Well, nobody said anything about that to me in the discovery call. So what do? Is I solve the OCD problem. Okay, of course, because I'm not going to be able to solve the stage fright problem until the OCD problem is gone, right? So then he comes for his second session. We solve the stage fright problem. Then at that point, he's like, well, this is fucking crazy magic. Like, what the hell are you doing? And he sends me every human being he knows in the world. And I have like a few very busy months just based on that one thing. But the point of the story is, at the end of the whole thing, he's like, I need a whole new wardrobe. I'm a whole new person. Like, none of my clothes look right on me anymore. And also, I don't like the same foods anymore. For example, I used to like red apples, but now I like green apples. And he's like, well, what's going on here? It was just such a weird story of one thing led to another. And in the end, the whole of his life changed. So I tell stories like that all the time because they're so weird and they're so interesting and they're so hypnotic. And I always share the same ones because I have practiced them. So think about those stories that have happened in your practice that blew your own mind, that tell your story and what's possible, and get good at telling that story over and over. You do have to practice that. Your other homework is to practice, what do you know about the mind and how can you tell it in a few words without over talking, without being boring, without losing interest. So that's another thing I teach in my course, which is like, how do I describe the mind in like 8 minutes or less?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want you to copy it from me because that's not the point. The point is like, you know that that's your expertise as much as it is mine. So think about how that's going to go. Then once you have this homework done, you're ready for this. You're ready for this thing here. I'm ready to tell you my stories. I'm ready to give you education. I'm ready to share my experience with you. This is a skill to practice. Forget all your session skills. Practice these because these are money skills, cash skills. Like at the end of the day, I got to tell you, like, I love the business aspect of this just as much as I love the problem solving aspect because it's so cool and weird. You set up a business from home, doing problem solving on Zoom, and next thing you know, people are sending you thousands of dollars based on how well you can do these two things. Just listen to what I just said. That's huge. Based on how well you can do these two things and how convincing and casual and motivational it is, this is important right here. Based on how much you can do this, be a human on this call, listen clearly without judgment, extend unconscious moments. Based on how much you can do that and how well you've practiced and rehearsed these two, that will determine how much money you make every month. So these are not small details. These are like major things to think about when you're meditating, when you're exercising, when you're in the shower, when you're doing your meditation. Like fantasize through this and how to make it sound so nonchalant. Like it doesn't work if it comes out of a formula. Like, oh, let me check my Rolodex and tell you about a past client who sounds exactly like you. That won't work. It has to be that motivational tone, the same tone you used in level 2. The casual, laid back. Oh yeah, that reminds me of, let me tell you about something. So what we worked on yesterday, or maybe it was the day before, was that MOS worksheet. That MOS worksheet combines your niche, your price, your message for the market. I mean, prepares you to create. So I want you to now reuse that same worksheet to finish this Q&A. If you've already got your product, you don't need to do this, but this is how you develop it. Who is the niche? Say specifically, and by the way, this isn't specific enough. What is their situation? This is for my niche, my previous niche. What is their desired situation? So what is their current situation? They're recently out of a narcissistic abusive situation, or they're addicted to alcohol, or whatever it is. Tell me their current situation and what is their desired situation. Say it in like 5 words or less. Based on your economics, which I teach you in the incubator, don't just guess at this. This takes a formula. What is your price? If you don't know your price, it's $1,500 because if you go less, it won't be worth it. So if you're not sure, start there. And then now is a tricky part. Remember how I said at the beginning of today, time is the big question mark? Does it take you 1 visit? Does it take 5? Does it take 3? We don't know. That's the whole question that you're facing right now is how do I package this within a certain time frame? So over deliver rather than under deliver. That's your claim to fame right now. Since you don't know how long your breakthroughs take at the start, you want to over deliver and say it's going to be more time rather than less time. Because then when it's quicker, they're like, wow, that was cool. It was faster than I thought. So I suggest giving the most amount of time you think it'll need. I don't care if you start at 6. I don't care if you start at 4. Whatever you're comfortable with that will definitely give you results is correct. Okay, if it's 10 or 12, then you should DM me and we'll talk about that. But if you're sure it's going to be 30 days, start there. If you're sure it's going to be 3 visits, start there. If you're sure it's going to be, whatever, start there. And just take it down as you practice. So start with 30 days, then go 21, 14, 7, 2 hours. Now when people say, well, how long does it take on average? I say like 2 to 4 hours. So the MOS solution can take time. That's okay. I'm not worried about it. Just let it happen. But what's important is that you flow cash during this experiment. So based on this consideration of over delivering, what is the minimum possible work you could do to help the clients go from their current situation to their desired situation that you are confident you can deliver on time? That's where you're going to start. So many options: 30 days, 2 months, a week, 6 months, an hour, whatever it is for you, write it down. And then we're going to put the whole thing together, and this will be the offer you present on the discovery call. I help women who are finally out of narcissistic relationships learn how to trust again in 30 days or less. I can deliver on that. I know I can do it now in 2 hours, but I'm not going to put that on the poster yet because it doesn't apply to everybody across the board. I think my poster right now says in 2 sessions or less. That's my statement, and I can definitely deliver that. Here's the cost. Here's how I get you to buy it. I say my price out loud 100 times a day. I don't do it anymore because I'm bored of it and I've raised my price. But at the beginning, you got to say your price all the time. Practice it so that when the person says, what's the offer? You just say it without skipping a beat, without being shy, without attenuating your voice. You just say it's $1,500. And then what do you say after you give the price? Yeah, exactly, Jody. You just sit there,
Nothing.
say nothing, wait, listen, see what happens. So the idea here of the strategy call, most importantly, is to use this approach with this concept in the background, which is underwritten by this. So if you don't know what to say on a strategy call, go back to your original principles of curiosity, unconscious moments, and then start to apply motivational questioning instead of untying knots, which was the only thing you knew how to do before. So now you have a whole language and approach to the discovery call that you didn't have before we had this little lesson. Does it make sense now? Yep. We're going to do questions now. So
Okay.
ask me anything you want. Discovery call, about business, about how I package it, about sales.
You send a welcome email before you send the contract?
Okay, so here's the pattern that my business follows. Social media, meet me,
Mm-hmm.
link to book either by contacting me and I send a link. When I get contact, I'm going to just talk you through the whole thing. It'll take me a couple minutes. When I am asked, oh, what's your price? Or like, tell me more about it. I don't sell right away. I always cultivate conversation because it's like 7 to 10 touches to have a even opening for a sale, right? So I'm a realtor, former realtor. My parents had businesses. I'm really good at this. So this is part of what you're going to do is nurture that inquiry without selling. So it's the same as doing motivational thing on the call, but now it's over text or messenger or WhatsApp or whatever the person contacted you through. So like, oh, cool, nice, thanks for reaching out. What seems to be the problem? Stop, wait for a response. Oh, it's blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, what else have you done about it? Wait for the response. Okay, that's something I can help you with. Would you like a link to book me? Stop, wait for the response. You see how there we already had 6 or 7 interactions before I even sent that link? That's what I want. Then they say, yes, I would love the link. Please send it to me. Then I pause. Then I'm busy. I don't send it right away. When I'm busy, I either send it in my morning response time or my evening response time. I don't work all day online because that is not professional and also shows that you're fucking doing nothing all day, which you shouldn't be. So eventually I send back the link. I mean, I don't manipulate that to the extensively, but I try to, cultivate over time. Then they get the link and there's a questionnaire. 6 questions. They're brief, but they're important. Either they fill it out in detail or they do a cursory answer. Already you have insight into them right now. Then they book in the discovery call. Then they come for the discovery call. I've read their comments, so I can give them feedback on that. We have the interview. We do motivation. They ask me for the product. I don't necessarily collect money right on the call. Sometimes I do. Most of the time I don't at this point because I don't like the interaction that goes with that. It's a whole other conversation. But anyway, I think people are going to buy it or not, whether they're, on the call or after the call. Then comes the welcome email. The welcome email goes through my VA. So I write the thing about what are they going to get out of this because I'm the one who took the notes. That goes to the VA. The VA sends out the welcome email. It's a pre-made email, which it's in our group under files, I believe, or maybe it's in Kajabi. It's somewhere. If it's not, just ask me for it and I'll repost it. In there are all my forms, all my caveats, my refund policy. It's very explicit. You're going to sign it again in the intake form, but I'm emailing it to you so you know. There's an attachment as well, which is a PDF, which tells you about my business, about my reviews. It's a little piece of paper that you can just take around with you, like show your husband, show your mom, whoever it is that's going to pay for it, whoever wants more information. So there's a lot there, including link to my YouTube, including link to my Instagram, including link to my TikTok, Facebook. So there's lots of places a person can go from that. One place they can go is just to pay and buy the product. From there, oh, and I should have said, in the discovery call, I will face-to-face book them a time because I want to explain and talk through what's optimal for them. That first session is gold, right? If it's the wrong time of day for them, it won't work as well. If they have to go right back to work at 3 o'clock and they come in at 10, that's a stupid idea. So I asked them, I talked to them about, okay, tell me what your days off are. Tell me what would be optimal for you to get a half a day off. How could you rest after? Then I look at my calendar. Okay, that's when I could do. I give them that time. It's listed in the welcome email. My VA enters it based on what that email says. So I don't have to do any calendar shit. I also schedule a follow-up 3-4 weeks later. That's all I schedule. Just the two. That's the product. Then they get 2 calendar invites that say reschedule or cancel at the bottom. During the discovery call, I tell them, hey, if you have any issues with this time, use the links at the bottom. You don't need to reach out to me or anyone. You can reschedule or cancel on your own. Or let us know and we'll help you. That's nice and easy. Okay, so then they come to their session and what's required for them to actually start that session is listed at the bottom of the welcome email in steps. You must have paid within 48 hours of receiving this email or we'll cancel you. You must have your intake form filled out 24 hours prior to the visit. These are rules I have. If you're followed by a psychiatrist or a psychologist, you have to disclose that and put us on a thread together. Those are the 3 things that are required. That's what I'm going to check for the night before to make sure the new client is all set. If I'm really on my game, I have my VA do it and we go back and forth and make sure everybody is ready beforehand. So there's so many touch points before they sit down for that session, like 25. That's why they're fully locked in. I never have no-shows, ever. Nobody ever stands me up on that because they're very, very committed by then. That was a long explanation, but I think it's important that you can see that the session is just like the
That's the icing.
cherry. Yeah, it's what?
It's the icing.
Yeah, it's a cherry on top. It's like I already got everything set up before that. I'm already protected. They're already invested. I already got the transformation started. I already got their questions answered. I've already educated them. I've already primed them. Like, there's so much I've already done. That's why when they say, like, that's a lot of money for the 2 hours, I'm like, fuck that. I wish it was that 2 hours. Are you kidding me? Like, dream on. But that's the same thing the dentist does. Like, you're not paying the dentist for the 90 minutes they spend with your crown. You're paying them for the 20 years they've taken to get good at that 90 minutes and to set you up so that when you get there, their clinic runs correctly. That's why you're paying $1,500 for 90 minutes, not because of the 90 minutes. It's the exact same project that I do here. You're paying me to know all that stuff. You're paying me to protect you all the way through. You're paying me to keep that safe. You're paying me for that to be smooth. You're paying me for me to know how to listen to you correctly. not do my own thing. All of that is the payment. It's not the 2 hours that I spend with you. That's irrelevant. But that's why this discovery call is worth $1 million, and why everybody who's in the course who's not making money yet is not doing the whole system. Because it's so easy to say, like, oh yeah, $200, $300, I'll see you in session. That's not this product. That's a conventional product.
I saw a friend without doing a discovery call like months ago, and it was a shit show, an absolute shit show.
I know. I've been there.
And I'll never do it again.
Well, and see, and I corrected that. This is funny, Jody, because I corrected that one this time. I keep telling you guys the anecdote about the one freebie that I did last year, and I did do a discovery call, but I still did it without the money, even a little bit of money. And that was in itself a huge problem. I did not get the results that I wanted. And it's the only one I can think of in out of, dozens that year. Because I didn't follow my own system because I was trying to be nice to someone. It doesn't work. Just don't do it. It won't work. And then you're discredited. That's even worse. And then what are you going to do? Tell that person, like, oh, I should have followed my own system. Like, they don't care. But by then it's a lost cause. And by the way, I did get good results on that one. It wasn't, I did get like shockingly good results, but it still wasn't what I'm used to. I want more. So I'm starting to realize, like, I just don't make exceptions. I don't do freebies. I don't do trades. I don't skip steps.
I don't want to work with friends, I've realized, at all. Not interested.
It doesn't even work. Why? Psychotic insight. Simple. Very easy. 1, 2, 3. And by the way, like, you're in a cool community right now. We all know each other. Like, refer your friends to practice, to give referrals to other people. Tell your friends, I can't do that for ethical reasons, but I know X and Y, excellent person who's just, opening their business and would love your referral. Can I send them your number? And then send that person, make sure they give a video review or a Google review, and help your colleagues get business. That's the best thing to do with friends who need sessions and who can't afford it. What's the most important thing about the discovery call? I mean, there's a lot of most important things, so that's a hard question, but let's just have a little chat about it.
Rapport.
Chill. No therapy monster. Worst thing you can do on the discovery call is look the part, talk about the protocol, seem clinical. None of that works.
Dr. Chill.
Yep, super. What else? Why, by the way? Because it's differentiation. If you're exactly like every other person they've interviewed, nothing to see here. Not exciting. What else?
Do not solve the problem. Don't undo the
Absolutely.
damn knot.
Absolutely. Very important. I have definitely lost money solving problems on discovery calls. Don't do that. So all of level 1 does not apply to discovery call. But level 2 applies to the hilt. Why? Because the only reason someone's going to pull out $2,500 is if they're sufficiently motivated. Now, what are people motivated to do all day long in their lives? Drink, go out for the weekend,
eat,
restaurant. Exactly. Why is it that they're spending $300, $400, $600 at a time doing that? They're motivated. So why wouldn't they be motivated to just triple that and get out of something that's been bothering them for 10, 15, 20, 30 years, or even a short time? Sorry, Julia.
Can't hear you, Jill.
Because their perception is that it's going to be painful.
Exactly. That's why we're doing the motivation and the chill version, because we're going to show them. And I say to them right up front, this is what it's going to be like. It's going to feel just like this. Isn't that cool? It's just this easy. I just say that right then so that they know what to expect.
I do have a question about how you started with the chill.
Yeah.
So I think it's 154 videos on my YouTube channel, and this is my character.
Yeah.
It's always been my character.
Yep.
It's been my character since I was in grade 9. I wore a tie
Yep.
to school every day. It's who I am.
Yep.
So I laughed with my wife this morning over coffee that I said, Maya liked the way I was dressed best yesterday. And she goes, well, what did you wear yesterday? I said,
Exactly.
it was practice. So I wore my red stuff. And she went, that's not who you are, though. It's not who you are at home. It's not who you are anywhere. Because you always look professional. It's who you are. It's how you feel best. So I'm a little conflicted based on the message that you gave
I agree.
and who my persona has always been. Does
Well,
that make sense?
yes, and I have a lot of feedback because fashion is my second most important topic in my life, other than hypnosis. So I love this question. I'm gonna take it as far afield as I can. Okay, there's two answers. Number one, you know who you are. I don't know who you are. Who you
Mhm.
are is who you are. That's who you should bring. If that's who you are, sell the fuck out of it. I couldn't give a rat's ass. Go for it. However, I have a question for you. Is who you always have been who you want to be carrying forward? I've heard you say so many times in my course, and I'm sure in other courses too, and I think in our personal dialogue as well, that you're turning a new leaf, that you're moving into something else. So that's the whole question is the old me gonna carry forward? I mean, I went to Oxford. I have an Ivy League PhD, like I'm this black lace, big earrings is like not exactly that girl, but it's the next iteration of that person. I didn't go into the academic field, even though it's a big part of who I am. So I can be that person and I feel comfortable as that person. But this person is able to connect with people on a different level. And it's more important to me. So yeah, I often look at my little, like, I have a section of my closet that's my workwear, and I'm like, it's a little weird that my workwear is like, white t-shirts with hearts on them because some part of me thinks like, I could be a kindergarten teacher at this point, but it's all motivated by my messaging and by my branding. And it's just who I evolved into based on this concept that I have. So that's the whole question for you is, do you like it the way it is? Do you feel comfortable? Is it telling people what you want them to understand from you? Do you want to evolve it? Do you feel like there's other options for you? Have a session about it. Think about it. But the best feedback I can give is if you want to become a full-time conversational hypnotist, you do need to think about comfort above credential. Do need to think about the casualness above the credential.
Yeah, I never thought of this
Yep,
as my credentials.
it is though.
I thought of that as that's who I am. It's who I've
Yes.
always been.
Well, if it is and you like it, then why change it? I mean, if that's good for you, it is what it is.
And it's funny because and I guess this is open to interpretation, but when I do come in, happens once in a while in the summer
Yep,
that I'm wearing shorts
yep,
and like a golf shirt like I am today.
yep.
And they look at me like,
I
oh,
know.
not a tie today.
Yep,
That's what
exactly.
I mean. Like the anchor's been there because a lot of them have watched my videos before coming in.
But are they anchored to the version of you who's able to do what we're talking about, or are they anchored to the version of you who they expected, which is a 10, 12, 15 visit armchair therapist? If so, then break that because that's exactly not what you want them to be anchored to anymore.
Okay.
I mean,
I'll have to think about it.
think about it, and also like what's wrong with the middle ground? Like I think that like sportswear is not my chosen thing either. I don't think that would really work for your business, but I also think the suit and tie is like a little, so where's the middle? You know, like maybe this golf shirt is the middle. To me it is, because it's saying like, you know, I'm regular, but also I'm not just, it's not Sunday.
Well, I was talking about that to Natalie yesterday about the conversation that you and Jody had about the hypnosis wear.
Yes.
And Nat's been saying that we should wear that around the office more. So we looked at some,
Yes.
3/4 zips. I still wear a dress shirt underneath, but it'll say my company name, or
Yeah.
I'm a hypnotist, ask the question, or whatever it might be.
Exactly. And those are
Yeah.
fun for making videos. Those are fun for wearing around. Or you can go to the store in those. Exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
and let me say too about the shorts, like I know we're like really into a whole different topic now, but I don't show my arms in my sessions. I mean, I know that that's like, but you know, I don't know. I'm just, it's propriety. Like I don't show my tits. I don't wear mini skirts. I mean, there's things that I don't do just because I'm being a professional. Like I'm back to my dentist. Like she's wearing a hijab and covered from head to toe. And frankly, I like that. It's a business that's meant for cleanliness. So I'm not going to sit here with my legs crossed and my crotch like this close to the client, because that's confusing. So I do think about my attire in terms of professional, unprofessional, but I also think of it in terms of welcoming and off-putting.
Okay. Thank you.
I mean, like to take it to an extreme, like right now I have a guy who works at a salon, and the salon colors, I don't want to give it away which salon it is, so I won't say that, but my subconscious works in advance so that when he's coming, I'm wearing the salon colors, and then he walks in and he's wearing the salon colors, and we're both like, "Hey, we're wearing the salon colors." And it's a really cute little rapport thing, which works well because it's very important to him, because that's the heart of his life. I mean, like, how much effort does it really take me? Not that much, but it's interesting because it creates a little connection. Do I do that for everyone? Obviously not, but you know, I'm just saying, like, that's what I'm trying to show you. Like, I live this way. Like, I'm always thinking, what will the client benefit from? How will, like, I even buy them their favorite drinks. You know, like the guy who wants the maple water. Like, I make sure I have it the day that I know they're coming. Why? It's MOS for me. It's not
Mhm.
because I'm trying to get a referral. It's not because I'm trying to sell them something. It's because if they have that extra additive, extra layer of comfort, mama soul doc, the way I do for my children, then they will transform faster. So I'll go to every extent that's professional. I will not go past that. I will not go past the professional to make them feel comfortable. But yeah, I think the image matters. Like you guys know my glasses collection matters. Like here's an example of my glasses collection. I'm taking Samba classes now, right? So there's a girl in my Samba class who's a psychology student. So I want her to take my course here, right? So I'm advertising to her also. I want to be friends with her because she's cool. But so she says to me the other day, and I walked into class wearing a different pair of glasses. She was like, "What's with all the glasses?" So I'm like, "Look at my Instagram. This is my profession. My glasses are part of my brand." Guess what happens? Next thing you know, she joins my Instagram. Now she's watching my stories. Now she's asking me, "When's your next level one?" The glasses were the conversation, we're the in, we're the connection. Now we're on to a sale. Is it worth it to have the glasses collection at the cost of $1,000 a year to get the sale, which leads to another sale, which leads to, yes, of course. So I invested in my brand partly on image. And also I find it extremely fun. I'm into it. So that's the whole thing, is make everything work for you, make everything motivational. See how I made my glasses motivational for her? Utilization. That's an Ericksonian principle. Utilization. That's the discovery call. Make it so fluid, make it so comfortable, make it so like obvious, easy, that they're like, "Oh, of course I want to come talk to that lady if she says she can solve this." I'm never pushy either. and never like push a sale. You don't want it? No worries. I got other shit to do. Okay, let's answer a few more questions and I'll give you a short break and then we have some fun to have. As you can see, I'm excited about this afternoon. Any other questions on sales, on strategy call? I mean, come to the strategy call class. It's $50 to come live, or you can buy the whole thing recorded if you want it recorded. I'm selling it more expensive recorded because I really don't want my discovery call to like be far and wide on the internet. So I'm making it a little less accessible, but I'm noticing people are buying more of that than the live one for some reason, because I guess you want to copy the recording. But anyway, it's your choice. If you want to spend a third of the price, just come live and take notes. It's fun to come live too, because you can ask questions. So I will actually do the discovery call, but go ahead and ask me any other theoretical questions you have about it. Like, what problems do you guys have on your discovery calls? Do you have problems?
I haven't done enough of them.
Yeah, you got to practice them.
Gotta practice them.
Yeah, nothing that hasn't been
Covered.
corrected through this,
Cool.
right?
Yeah, good. I mean, the last thing I can say about discovery calls is it's rejection therapy.
Hmm.
Get used to your rejection therapy. Love your rejection therapy because life is rejection. And business is just a training ground for that. So if you can get good at that and not care and not feel offended and not feel hurt and not feel like, oh, that person just wasted my time, like just be grateful people are booking you. Just be grateful for the practice. Just be grateful that the links work and that the time is and that the slots work and the whole thing works. Don't get hung up on it. People say no, they're not good candidates. You don't want to work with them anyway. If you get too many no's in a row, you got to troubleshoot and go backwards. Something is wrong with your discovery call. But if you're doing a good 50%, that's it. That's good enough. Mine went from like 50% to 60 to 70 to now it's like basically everyone who books me, if they're a good candidate, will buy it. And if they're not a good candidate, I'll know right away and disqualify them. I'm getting so good that I can disqualify them before they come. Like I have a good intuition for like, oh, the way they answered my questions, the way they approached me, they're probably not going to buy it. I try to be open though. Sometimes people surprise you, so I try to like not get too bitchy and judgmental, but eventually you can trust your gut.
Do you record your discovery calls?
I don't record anything that happens in this office other than the training for a few reasons. I think it triggers psychotic insight just to press record. So I don't like that in terms of one-to-one. Also, like everything we're doing here is inexplicable and ineffable. It's it's sort of it sort of puts me, I feel a little bit at risk to have a recording of everything that happens therapeutically. Like obviously I want a recording so that I can sell it, so that I can put it on YouTube, so I can show you guys Kajabi, blah, blah, blah. I'm not like afraid of what we're doing. But in terms of client work, I don't know. I'm not doing it. You guys seen Tiani though, who's in our group? Did you notice that she's starting to publish the breakthrough moments of her clients? So she's recording her sessions. She's choosing the moments that are really good unconscious moments, and she's using that as her advertising. I'm like considering it. It's really smart, but it's really like I'm on the line about privacy, security, all kinds of things. Like I don't know that that's a good technique overall, but it's smart, and I could do it with our practice sessions as well. But so these are like that's the whole thing with iteration in business is like for her it's working for her clientele, whatever agreements she's making with them. I don't know. For me, it's a no. And when people ask me to record, I decline. I always follow my protocols, by the way, Jody. Like some people make exceptions for this and that client. Like I just don't. It's just too hard. It's too
Hmm.
confusing. What I do is what I do across the board, like it or not. Do I accommodate people? Yes, I will accommodate people, but will I like bend my rules? Really, no. I'll give a scholarship once in a while if somebody is really pressed for money. I do have like I call them five $500 scholarships. I don't know that I ever like really publicize that, but those are the concessions I make, but that's few and far between.
Mhm.
But like somebody told me they had a budget the other day that they had been saving up for their transformation for a long time.
Yeah.
I was like, that's so cute. It wasn't like an acute problem. It was like a personality thing that she really wanted to change over the course of her life. So like she's working an hourly job, saving up 20 bucks at a time to get to 1,500 bucks. Like to me, that's worthy of a discount. But those are the only concessions I make.
Yeah, I did one for a single mom who
Exactly.
is working 2 jobs
That's,
and her, yeah.
I think
And
that's
it was a parenting problem.
exactly.
And yeah.
Do it for the
And
kids, blah, blah,
it
blah.
felt, it felt right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know.
Mhm.
But I'm just saying, across the board, keep everything the same, treat everyone the same. People will surprise you too. Like I've told you guys before about the H&M sales girl. She's like 24, 25, H&M. I give her the price. She's like, well, it's literally a month of income for me, like the whole month. So anyway, she went off and gathered up the money. This was 2 years ago. I ran into her the other day at the bus stop, which was so weird because we had never met in person. It was a Zoom thing. And she was there with the boyfriend she had been talking about the whole time. And she was like, oh my, it's my hypnotist. She's the best in the world. I can't believe you're here alive. Blah, 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 blah. So she came through. She came through with the money. She came through with the transformation. She changed her life, quit that fucking shit ass job, went on with her goals. So I'm just saying you can't judge. I had no clue she would come up with the money in the end. But I didn't give her a scholarship because I didn't quite see it there. But anyway, just don't judge people. Young people, doesn't matter. What other problems do you have on your discovery calls? Oh, Melanie's been texting us. Let's see. I can do sales. That just blew my mind. What was that? That blew your mind. It was an hour ago. Sorry. Melanie was like, wow, that just blew my mind. I can do sales because I can solve problems.
Okay, I've got to go actually. I've got to be
Okay.
somewhere here sometime soon. See you
Thanks.
guys.
Bye, Craig.
See you, Craig.
We're about to take a break anyway. I think Melanie's got some background noise there.
So I have some questions on, we had talked before and you said your minimum that you should take for a session is 90 minutes. Is that still about right now that we have level 2?
When you're a beginner,
Mm-hmm.
I would say 2 hours personally, but that's based on my own experience.
Mhm.
I just, after all the years I've been doing, which is not that many. Okay, I started in 2020, or was it 2021? I can't remember. Anyway, it's 2020 spring, I think. So I've been 5 years in it. I'm at 2 hours right now. I'm just now noticing like that I'm between 90 minutes and 2 hours. But that's me. I know
Mm-hmm.
other colleagues of mine who are quicker than me, but for me, I want the 2 hours. When I book my schedule, I book 3 on my side because I can't do anything for the hour after. I mean, I can function, but I can't like see another client. My calendar is very well organized so that when I book 2 sessions a day or 1 session and 2 discovery calls or 3 discovery calls or whatever the combinations end up being, it stops booking.
Mm-hmm.
So I only have so many openings for sessions per day and per week.
So as
And
a follow-up to
it's
that,
not
because
that many.
right, and because the first one is so impactful, do you notice that your subsequent sessions, because you started off with a protocol of 5, right? Was it 5 or 6?
5 years ago, I started with 6.
Okay.
Really quickly, that became like extremely cumbersome. So I eliminated a lot right off the bat. So it went 6 to 4 within like 30 or 60 days. So
Okay.
then it was 4. Then it went 3. 3 lasted for years. Like 3 was
Okay.
the thing. And still now I still offer the third, but nobody uses it. So now I'm down to 2 required.
Okay.
And you're right. The first one is the one. And by the way, like I keep telling you, everything depends on you being on your game on that day because that you can never recover it. It's like getting laid for the first time. Like there's only one shot at it. If you
Mm-hmm.
don't get that big impact on that first one, yes, you will have more opportunities to untie knots and fix things, but it'll never have that aura to it again. So that's why I protect that session and I work up to it and I treat it with a lot of love and care because it's like really a special experience for that person.
So let's assume that that first session you rocked it.
Yeah.
My assumption then
Good
would be
assumption.
that my assumption would be the sessions that come after would of course not be as long because you don't have to do as much of the work.
For me, they can be as long, but not be as, what is the right word? Deep?
Intense.
Yeah, because they've already released a lot of energy around the main issue. So the main issue doesn't go away, but it just decompresses over time.
Mm-hmm.
But like trauma is trauma. I mean, Jill, you know that
Mm-hmm.
it's a little ridiculous to say like somebody who has been through, I don't know, horrible things, rape, abuse, like it's still there on the second session.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not that we eliminated it. It's just that they can touch it without as much burn.
Mm-hmm.
But there's still a lot to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Okay.
mean, just you have to differentiate this job from a therapy job because my job is not to help you live your life and coach your life. My job is to give you an opportunity to change direction. But based on the change of direction, there's still tons of shit for you to do. You still
Right.
might need a personal trainer. You still might need a life coach. You still might need a diet. You still might need fucking EMDR therapy, CBT, and everything else. I don't know. And I don't fucking care. But what I care is that your life went from fuck this, fuck this, fuck this to, oh, okay. Like there's a great review on my page, and this was a great lesson to me and story to me of a gentleman called me, very well known in this town, very, rich guy, very prominent person. So it took me by surprise when I got the call from him. My wife is leaving me. We have a big family. We have a bunch of kids. We have a huge business together. Like she just out of the blue sideswiped me. What is that word?
Blindsided.
Blindsided me, right. And he literally showed up in the chair, like in a pile of disaster, like crying, heaving, I'm gonna die. For a good 20 minutes, I considered calling an ambulance. I was like, this is not gonna end well here, like this is a big mess and I'm not qualified for this. And it really took me like into a scary sort of like, oh my God, kind of place. But then comes the transformation. And if you go read, it's on my Google reviews as well as on my website. You can read this transformation story, and it's not his real name. It's Onopono is the fake name that he used. But anyway, you see there that what he says is, I met her and she pulled me out of the trash pile or whatever he said. And then I enrolled in therapy. I quit drinking. I started volunteering. I started going to the gym. And he lists all the things that were subsequent to meeting me, which was a lot of investments in himself. But it's exactly the point is I didn't do all those other things.
Mm-hmm.
And if I had seen him for 6 or 12 sessions, that would have been my job to help him with all those other things. But that's not the job. The job was, okay, your life just ended. That sucks. But you have kids. You're going to have to move on. We're going to have to pick up and do something. What is that going to be? Oh, it's going to be that I'm going to go to this, this, and this. Okay, so go do those things. But those things are not subject to my therapy. Those things are processing. So my job is not what your job is, Gilles. Your job right now is to help people in their lives and to be there week after week and to help them with their smaller problems and bigger problems. That's not me.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like meeting me is an intersection point, which will pull your life in a different direction. And that's why it costs money. And as we said, that direction is implied in this person's karma anyway. It's just when. Like that person's already going in that direction, whether it's in this lifetime or 10 lifetimes for now. But maybe they want to do it sooner. Well, if they meet me and we can get their mind on track with that, maybe it's now instead of in 10 years or 4 years or 2 months. That's the point. But my job is not to clean up every problem in your life and to help you through everything and teach you how to breathe and havening and how to put your feet on the floor. That's not all me. The only people who get any of that from me have to pay 5 grand or more and work with me for a number of months. And that's not my main product. Maybe it will be later, but right now it's not. So you got to really think of it, Gilles, as a very different project. This is really a cornerstone project. And once they get through that cornerstone, send them on their way to a different person. I think of myself as a puzzle piece. I'm just a piece in the puzzle so that once they get this piece, they can open their puzzle to a much, bigger puzzle. They were on this little one before and now they're on this big one. That's the idea. But that doesn't mean I have to do everything. I just have to do that one thing.
Yeah, I guess where I'm thinking in my mind is that minimum optimal service.
That's right.
That's where I'm looking. So I'm
Okay.
thinking, okay, so number of sessions that I feel confident in doing, the amount of time per session, like that's where I was thinking in my head.
So you got to ask yourself the amount of time I feel confident thinking about what. And so then this is why this slide is very important, which is what is this? What is the desired outcome? If the desired outcome is stop smoking, then go to the gym, feel better, all those things are not in your purview other than as MOS side effects. So all you're worried about is what's the number for them to get this and how much time does that take? Everything else is a byproduct. That's very different than, oh, I want you to like come into my office and we solve everything. No, this is like a pill form product. Therapy is not a pill form product. Where you're going, where I'm going, I don't know if you're coming with me, but where I'm going is towards as close to here, just take my course and your problem will go away. But I haven't figured that out yet. But that would be ideal. It would be ideal if I could say, hey, here's a 60-minute video. You don't need to talk to me anymore. But you see how that's just a conceptual way of me saying, let's make this into a pill form. But I haven't mastered that yet. I'm still working with the, reality of that, which is you have to work with a person one-to-one. And obviously that's why I've opened a training school too, because I'm moving in that direction. Because I want more of that. Which, by the way, thanks for signing up for the course, because this really does make me very happy. I get to teach it to you and share it. I love it. Okay, other ideas or questions on the discovery call? Has anyone here watched my actual discovery call? Like the full thing with the example person?
Like the one from a long time ago?
Well, there's a whole library of them right now. I think there's 6 or 5 in the course.
Yeah, I think I've watched a couple.
Right.
I've watched a couple too.
Right. But so, is it making sense based on?
It did make sense before 102.
Okay, yeah, exactly. I agree with that. I agree with that. Right. But now do you see like that I'm really using the hypnotic conversation the whole time, no matter if it's a discovery call or a session? Okay, so what do you do when they object? What do you do when the client objects? Oh, I don't know if this is going to work for me. Oh, I've had this problem forever. I doubt this will work.
Tell
What
a
do you
Bring up,
story.
yeah, past clients or educate.
Exactly. You only have two options, and they're both
Mhm.
motivational. What if they're not objecting but just talking?
Let them talk.
Listen.
And then how do you decide what to say next?
We'll look at our categories.
Where are the yeah,
First,
categories?
first unconscious moment.
Mhm.
Don't talk unless they're unconscious. When they're unconscious, when they're looking up, when they're pausing, when they're crying, when they start to give you their real heart, then use a motivational question, either off the 70-page one or just relevant to the context, but towards motivation. And then repeat the same thing again. Wait until you hear a UM. Either motivate, share, past client, or educate. It's formulaic. Detach from everything else. Detach from if they're buying it. Detach from if you think they're on board with you. I'm totally detached from everything else because whatever's going to happen is going to happen, whether I force it or not. So why worry? Spend
But I,
that time generating another clientele, huh?
but I think that's how what Jody highlighted too. Like, I've taken this stuff with Scott, and it's like when you only have 101, it's like, yeah, I get all this, but I don't know how to package this so that people will buy. I'm just asking them a whole bunch of questions.
I know.
And I know being a therapist for a while, that doesn't work. It just usually pisses people off.
Agree.
So it's difficult to see,
Yeah.
okay, I don't know how to take this. But you're right, like what you just said, it's formulaic. And by using a structure, it makes sense moving forward. But even with the discovery call, I've been trying to do 101 with clients only on its own. And we've talked about that. I get to almost there and then, okay, time's up because I have
Yeah.
50 minutes.
And so, I mean, I still think that you need to allow more time, so I'm not going to change
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But also, I will say now that you can motivate inside of that 50 minutes, obviously you're going to need more time for motivation, but less time to undo not. So can you see now how much easier that inquiry is going to get? Because the whole thing is no longer on you.
And I see that there has always been excitement when I talk about whatever level of hypnosis that I do. And because I wasn't doing a discovery call on the ones that were excited, we never built up the motivation and choice. So it wasn't as effective. And then they lose the belief in
Exactly.
the in hypnosis being
That's right.
a pathway to breakthrough.
Moreover, people don't know what the end goal is without the discovery call, so they don't know how to orient themselves. That's a huge problem.
Mm.
If you just sell it in the session, like, oh, well, I do another thing and, maybe you want to sign up for it. It's like, well, that sounds good and exciting, but they still don't know, like, well, what's the point of that? What's going to happen at the end of that?
Or they would say, why would I move from this current model?
Exactly. And what would you say then? Then you educate them.
Mm-hmm.
That's when the education comes in. Like, well, here's the old model, here's the new model. This is how they're different.
Mm-hmm.
I have a little like laminated picture of the mind over here that I pull out like a fucking old school teacher when people resist their mind or when they resist hypnosis. I actually just pull it out and explain it again. Well, here's the difference between the subconscious and the conscious. Here's why I'm doing it this way. Here's why I don't do inductions. I'll educate them as many times as they want or need. I will say I'm different than Scott in the sense that Scott is very much on the side of like the clients don't need to know, the clients don't care. And I love Scott. I have infinite respect for him. I'm not trying to take away from him right now. But what I am saying is I think the clients actually deserve to know something. I do think clients are intelligent. I do think clients investigate methods. I don't think it helps to overwhelm them. I don't think it helps to treat them like they're clinicians because they're regular people. But I think out of respect, it's like when you go to the dentist, back to the dentist, like Well, do I need to know how the machine works? No. But do I need to know like how long it's going to take for me in the chair and what is the material of the crown and how much pain? Like, yes, these are things I do want to have a conversation about. Maybe I do want to ask her like, well, where is the crown made? And, how does it get to your office? Like, that's not unreasonable. So it's the same for me here. Like, no, everyone has a different level of curiosity. Everyone has a different level of intellectual ability based on what they're showing me. I'll educate them more or less. Some people, by the way, here, I'll give you this last example, and then let's take a break so we can get on to this afternoon. Here's a very interesting case that I have going right now. Super weird. I mean, they're all super weird, aren't they? So, 36-year-old guy, still lives at home, all kinds of OCD, constipation, medical issues. I mean, the list is very long. Okay. So this is one of those where originally I would have been like, I'm not sure about that. But he's been to every doctor, he's been to everyone, nothing is doing anything. So it's got to be somewhere in some part of it is mental. But he's super analytical to the point where he's making himself sick, like physically sick. So I resisted a little because it's like extra analytical, but also it's a fun challenge for me. But anyway, long story short is comes to the first session, great results. What does the analyst do after their first session? They undo their own results. I kind of thought he would because I could tell on the discovery call that that's kind of the test he was going to put me through. So I'm already like ahead of that game, right? So then I'm like, so then he contacts me after the first visit. And he says, I have some questions for you. I'm like, okay, send them to my email because I know there's going to be a lot. Literally, it's 2 single-space pages of questions based on what happened. Literally, about theory, about things I said, about the conversation. So what do you do in that situation? I already collected the money. I'm already in it. We're already invested together. I have 2 pages of questions to answer. What should I do? What would you do? What do you do then?
Shouldn't have to justify, do you?
Well, what do you do though? Like, I shouldn't have to, Royson, but what am I going to do with this client? I want to help. I want to help them. I don't want to get a bad review. I don't want to give them a refund. I don't want to argue. There's only one thing I can do. You guys, it's really important that you
Answer the questions.
Right.
How?
Did he have a transformation? Did you point that out?
I did, but that wasn't convincing to him. And yes, once we got back on a call together, then we went over that. But what Jody said is also right, which is I have no options at this point other than either refund or answer the questions thoroughly.
You know what I would do is I would do a video
Exactly.
and answer the questions, and then I can repurpose that video later.
I thought of that. I didn't want to do the video because I knew he would have feedback for me and I'd have to keep on doing it and it would go on forever because that's the character he was. So what did I do is I took his next session. I said, I'm not going to do a session with you because I need you to really understand everything, but we'll take your session. And I had to answer questions for 100 motherfucking minutes.
Oh, shit.
That's what I did though. I sat there with him and I said, you read it, I'll answer. You read it, I'll answer. We went through all of it. Then he had his second session and had his breakthrough. So is it perfect? No. But the answer was to Gilles' question of that's the responsibility that we're taking on is the client is owed as much as they're willing to ask. If I make that agreement, I'm going to follow through with it. Did I like that it cost me that extra? No. Did I enjoy those 2 hours? Not exactly. Did I learn something? Kind of. My choice to take them on and also my choice to carry it through.
What kind of questions were they? Was it like questioning why you did what you did throughout the session?
Or is it more like categories?
I could not even remember. I blocked the whole thing out of my head. I don't know. It was all, but if this, then that, like one of the questions I remember he said was, but now that we've had the first session, how is that different from CBT? All we talked about was ways to think about what I'm thinking about. So I had to explain to him, well, but that's not what we did. We did not come out with a piece of paper that had all your rules on it that you're supposed to follow. How are you supposed to remember what to do in CBT? Well, did we do that? And then he's like, no. Okay, well, so I'm asking him, so how do you remember how our session went if we didn't do the CBT model? And he's like, well, I don't know. I answered the questions and it just comes to me when I'm going through my life. I'm like, well, how is that different than CBT? And he's like, well, I don't have to like reference my rule sheet. And I'm like, but you just told me that it was like CBT and now you're telling me it's not. So which is it? And then he says, oh yeah, you're right. It's not. I just remembered. I'm like, well, isn't that easier? Yeah. Isn't that what I told you my system was going to do? Yeah. Okay. So what's the problem? But that took me 10 minutes.
Oh.
But so it was one of those after another. But what I'm trying to show about that guy is frustrating as it was, and annoying in a way for me as it is, because I'm just watching the guy suffer for no good reason. But answering his questions is part of his healing. So I don't care how we get there. I'll get there however we're going to get there. That 90 minutes I spent was a much better investment than trying to get out of it and drag him through the second session without information, because that would have been like the end of our relationship. So that's what I'm trying to say to you is like, it depends on the client. It depends on what their personality is. It depends on their needs. If you meet them and it's remember the slide from yesterday, where my last slide, where I'm like, give the client everything they ask for. Don't leave any stone unturned, then your job will be good and complete. That's how I feel about this guy. I guarantee I get a good review out of him. I'm 100% sure. And that was very hard to get. Like, I put that one as a feather in my cap.
You earned that one.
Way and more.
He made you earn it.
He made me earn it. It's okay though. Could I do all of those? No, I couldn't handle that all the time. But it is what it is. He has a very good heart, very good intentions, very earnest, very willing. Those are very important qualities to me. If he had been like difficult or mean or malicious or any of those things, I wouldn't have done it. But he really wants it. He really has a soft heart. It's just hard for him. Really hard for him to get out of that. It's okay. I get that.
Yeah.
You have to live with yourself. Don't forget that.
Yeah.
You have to live with yourself. If I had not answered the whole thing in detail, I would have to live with the fact that I gave him short shrift, and that's not a good service.
He reminds me of a client I had who was very analytical. It was ages ago. It was an RTT session. And as I was doing it, he kept saying well, how will I know? How will I know? How will I know?
But so people do that to me too in conversational. What do you do when they say, well, is it happening? Sometimes they say, like, am I hypnotized? What do you say? They interrupt themselves. What do you do? What do you do?
I don't know, are you? I don't know, are you?
All right. How do you feel? Is anything happening? What's going on? How would we know? Or if they're really skeptical and like to the point of questioning, you say, okay, well, let's stop the session and talk about what hypnosis is so that we can get clear on that. Because I don't know why you're asking me that in the middle of it. I will do that. I don't care. I always tell you guys about the lady who told me I was doing it all wrong because she had Googled it. Remember what I said to her? That's cool. You want to sit here? I'll sit over there. We'll just switch. And she's looking at me like, bitch. But she didn't switch and she got her transformation. So whatever.
So you would stop in that situation and do a bit of education and move on?
I'm real all the way. I'm a real person. I'm not here to pull the wool over your eyes. I'm not here to do any smoke and mirrors. I'm not here to convince you. I'm not into covert hypnosis. No, none of those things are me. I'm just the real deal, raw, no bullshit. You want to have a conversation about why we're here? Fine, let's do it. You're paying me. I don't care. I don't care what we're doing. You don't agree with my approach? You want more, description? You want more explanation? Fine. Like I said, just like the dentist. What if you're in the dentist chair and you're crying and you're like, but this isn't what you said was gonna happen. What is the dentist gonna do? Is she gonna be like, bah! She's gonna be like, okay, let me stop for a second. I'll leave you there with your whole appliance in your face, just like I leave the client here sitting here in hypnosis. But she'll stop and say, why are you scared? What's going on? What can I do? I will do the same thing. I'm a human being. I know people have questions, people get scared. That's the whole thing with level 2 is like nothing can phase me. I can always have an in. If you make me stop, I have a way back in, which is just using motivation. So then they go through their little thing. Okay, yeah, that's cool. And so then I just go back to, so tell me again what you blah, blah, blah.
Well, my dentist didn't say that to me the other day. He kept saying halfway through was, oh, who would have thought this be a tooth all the way back there? Because he was having really a lot of difficulty drilling. And I was really uncomfortable in the chair. And he kept going on. And he was like blaming the tooth for where it was in my mouth. He just kept saying, like, oh, that tooth is so far back. Like,
I have thousands of ideas, as you guys know. One of them is I'm going to record a course, which is hypnosis for dentists. And we should send it to that guy so that he can take the course because those are such anti-hypnotic things to say and they're like freaking people out. So we need to have a course for all of that. Also, I think I could do one for bedside manner for surgeons, doctors.
Yeah, he was an oddball and he has this
These are
weird.
all,
I didn't answer him. I just didn't say anything.
I know. Well, you're thinking laying there, that's so like the stupidest hypnotism I've ever heard. Thanks a lot.
Like, what am I supposed to say to that? Oh, sorry, I designed my teeth incorrectly in my mouth.
I went to the dentist pretty recently and she was like, I'm going to do your blood pressure. And I was like, wait, I want to see how low I can get it. And she was like, what do you mean? And I was like, I'm going to use my mind to like bring it lower than anyone has had all week. And she was like, what are you talking about? I was like, just give me a second. And she does it. And she's like, how did you do that? It was just so fun. I was like, isn't that weird? I just hypnotized myself to lower my blood pressure. She was like, I'm like, what medical school did you go to? How is it that people don't know that you can use your mind?
Mhm.
I mean, it's just so weird, right? Why am I the one telling the medical staff that? Anyway, it cracked me up.
I have a logistical question.
Oh, sure.
When you have someone come and sit in your office, like in person,
Mm.
what do you do about the hour rest after?
Good question. So this will be
Mhm.
for Gilles too, because I think you're going to have a live practice as well. So when people come on the discovery call, I give them options. So watch this part of the discovery call. So my live option is more expensive than my in-person option. By the way, when they ask you why that is, you say because it's more work for me, because that's the
Mhm.
honest answer. So I always tell people the truth about that. But then I say one reason that I would prefer to see you on Zoom, or I prefer Zoom, is so you can rest right after. I really think that's important. So I tell the client, not only do you save the $300, but also you're going to have the best post-treatment, post-session care in your own home. Sometimes people insist. Okay, but I'm a senior. Okay, but I always do things live. If they go in that direction, then I say, well, it's no different to me. You're going to pay me a little extra. And afterwards, you're going to also have to follow the same protocol. So that means if you drive here, I need you to walk around the block, go to the park, go get a coffee, sit in your car in silence. Or I need you to, plan to be picked up and rest after. So I will prime them for that right then
Mm.
so that when they get here, we don't have to have that conversation. If you don't prepare them for that, they will misplan it, and then it'll be your problem that they don't have processing time. That's why I booked the first session live with the client, because that
Mhm.
conversation I realized is actually much more important than I thought. I used to just let them book through the app, but then they would book these fucking ridiculous times that didn't correspond to the instructions I gave. And by the way, when they ask me what that's all about, I say it's like your computer has tabs. Like when you open Chrome, you can open 5 tabs or you can open 20 tabs. If you open 20 tabs and start to download things on all of them will be slow. So I say your brain's the same. I just did a lot of work on opening some tabs that need your full bandwidth right now. If we open a bunch more tabs, the tabs we just worked on are going to have less bandwidth. So I don't want you to open all the new tabs. That's how I explain to them. You can't go back to work. You can't go back to real life. And then they always have some stupid question about like, well, I have a dinner that night, or I have a party, or like, I'll be dressed in my whatever. Is that okay? Like, then you just troubleshoot all the little details, get it down to a plan. But don't forget that that processing is what you've invested in. So if you don't promote that and encourage it and remind them it's part of the process, then you fuck your own MOS. Processing does all the work for you. It's you going with the client home. Don't interrupt that. And that's Erickson. That's Ericksonian. That's a huge, huge piece of what we're doing. That's very different than what the therapist is doing. The therapist says, see you next week. What does that do? Shuts the door on processing. Boom. Client is like, oh, my work is done. She'll help me again next week. No, I have jack shit to do. And then their life doesn't change. Then they're like, therapy doesn't work. Well, yeah, because you just told me not to do anything. Like ludicrous. Makes no sense at all. Just remember that you are the expert on how the mind actually works. All the other people are the experts on theories of the mind, but we're experts on practical discharging of the mind at work. So because that's your expertise, that's why you have to set it up correctly. And that's why the discovery call is literally worth the $3,000 or the $2,000 or whatever you're charging. Royson, you're muted.
Do you have, after the discovery call and then they buy the session, then do you send an email explaining the process?
So remember, just rewind this video when you rewatch it, because I just talked through that whole thing when Jody asked me her question a few minutes ago. Maybe it was 20 minutes ago now, but I talked through the whole thing, which I should do in process. I do it in the incubator too, which you're in, so you have access to that too. But the process is one form for discovery call, live call, follow up on email, including description of what happened, intake, payment, instructions. Those instructions are very important because those are where I say things like, if you're on psychoactive medication, tell me now. If you have a psychiatrist, write them an email today. I'm telling people flat out, hey, these are the instructions, do them. If you don't pay, I'm going to cancel you. So that email is very valuable because it's not signed, but it's the first level of me saying, here are the terms of engagement. Your next step is to sign this document in terms of an intake form. But do you see how important that is in terms of A, disclosure, B, rapport, and C, creating expectation? By the way, when you get to my intake form, it gets even longer. It's not just who's your doctor or who do I call in an emergency, but it's also things like, what's your name for God? And what have you not told me so far? And
so where are you saying
and what I wanted to say is also in the intake form is 5 sentences, which are things like, I take responsibility for this fully, and I will not blame other people if it doesn't work. Like I have you guys can go copy it off of my own website, but I have also a list of things that I'm getting them to read, which I don't know if they read it or not, but which are explicit agreements. Like, I won't blame others for this process. I will take responsibility for it. I will be on time. I will care about this process. I will treat the hypnotist with respect. Like all kinds of things that I am serious about. That's included in that intake form, which is not included in the welcome email. So it's like logistics, setup, then agreements, contracts, then payment, then transformation.
And are you saying you have copies of those, or we can access copies of those?
Sure. They're all at the bottom. The welcome email is a file in the Facebook group.
Okay.
And I think it's in Kajabi, but I have to check with my VA. The intake form is linked at the bottom of my website. So you can just go and see
Yeah, I've got that one. It's maybe the
the
welcome.
email. I emailed that to you specifically in your coaching.
Did you?
Yeah, it's in your email.
Oh, okay. Thank
Just
you.
check your emails. You might have been on vacation, but I know you got it.
Okay, okay.
It might be from Soulsway Secretary, the VA email, but
Ah,
you do have it. That's just because you were asking specifically, but it's available to everyone.
yeah,
Okay,
great.
let's take
Thank you.
yeah, my pleasure. Let's take a 15-minute break. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I don't see the email. I'm just looking in the files. I don't see the welcome email. I could be nuts, but
No, I don't know where it is. Maybe it's in the Kajabi.
okay, I'll look in
Maybe
Kajabi.
it's in the incubator only. I don't know. I didn't publicize it to everyone because it's personal to my business, so it's possible
Mhm.
it's still hidden. But if
Okay.
you're in the incubator, which you all are, it should be somewhere. Maybe it's in that part.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it's
I'll
in
look.
the incubator Facebook, which we're not using anymore. That's I think where it is. Remember we changed over to the all being in the
Mhm.
same group now? I think it's in that
Did you delete the incubator Facebook, or is it still
Oh, no,
there?
it still exists.
Okay. I
But
can go
anyway,
back
I'll
in.
make sure that you guys get it. So like I said, next part of the day today is our last module. It's the most chillaxing, but also the most fun and inspiring. So go grab your lunch, grab a drink, grab a popcorn. I'll probably need like 2 hours. Do you guys want a longer break right now or shorter so you can leave earlier?
Doesn't matter. I need to walk the dog. I need 10 minutes.
Okay, do you guys want 15, 20?
15, yeah.
15 is good.
15.
Okay, so we'll come back at 1:45 and then we'll have like maybe 90 minutes-ish, maybe 2 hours. And we'll
Hmm.
be